Hi, I'm AP Thomas, author of the White Knight Detective series, and this is just a reel to introduce how the stories came into being. My background is the son of a scenes of crime officer. I grew up around detectives and then later on went and did an English literature degree. And my love of reading, my love of crime fiction really pulled me into wanting to write in the genre. It came about that I was a big fan of The Great Gatsby as well. And the criminal connections, Gatsby's criminal connections, I felt there was a huge amount of room to explore those further. I also felt there was a real sense of Gatsby's death being something where all kinds of conspiracy theories came about. So I wanted to write something based on that, and eventually did it when the dreaded pandemic came and started to research and to think about the times and the major criminal involved in The Great Gatsby, who was a guy called Mayer Wolfsheim. Wolfsheim was based on a real underworld criminal called Arnold Rothstein, and a great book, which I have here, Rothstein. David Pietrusza wrote this book and effectively gave me my detective, because an Inspector Dominic Henry came up against Rothstein and it almost cost him his career. Not much is known of Henry other than that. Suspended without pay, 2 years, criminal charges, facing jail, facing expulsion from the force. And in that time, that fascinated me. So I decided to take the era, take Gatsby's death, and take this detective to try and bring justice to the case. The first story took 2 weeks to write. It was a tiny little thing with a pretty poor cover, 20,000 words, and it was a springboard for other things and other stories. Further cases came on, further ideas came, and within 2 months of April and May 2020, I'd written more stories. I'd written The Devil Rode In on a Storm with its equally bad original cover. I'd also written A Star Above Her Table. All of these stories progressed until I had 10 stories. By August 2021, 10 stories, all charting White's career. And then I entered a competition. It was an off-the-shelf novel slam, which I won. And the problem with that was that I hadn't written a novel, I'd just written stories. So I began to turn the stories very tentatively into novels. Through the wonders of Kindle Direct Publishing, was able to produce novels, and the first story that I ever wrote turned into, chronologically, novel number 2, Death at the Golden Door. The novels now are still in production. 6 novels to date, and there will be at least 3 more. So that's the journey really of how the White Knight detective stories came into being. And hope you've enjoyed listening, and if you'd like to buy the novels, they're available on the link on this channel to buy through Amazon. And thank you once again for listening and joining the journey.